सुनो मेहर बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी। सुनो मेहर बाबा की।
Dr. William Donkin said that the new life is all a mystery, and again a mystery. Meher Baba's divine work on earth can be divided into several phases, consisting of the early period at Meherabad, the world travels, the must work, the new life, the free life comprising the complicated free life, the full free life, and the fiery free life, the final phase consisting of the Sahavasis, Darshans, and the intense seclusion period. Of all these phases, the new life of Meher Baba, spanning from October 16th, 1949 to February 12th, 1952, is one of the most enigmatic phases. During these 2.5 years, Baba seemingly set aside his divinity, donning the role of a seeker or lover of God, a role he embodied with profound perfection.
As for the new life in which we were blessed to be chosen, all I can say is that Baba walked the new life. Baba gave birth to the new life because he walked the new life. It existed because Baba created it by making the new life and walking in the new life.
As 1949 approached, Meher Baba began hinting at a significant transformation in his life and work. On January 1st, 1949, he issued a cryptic statement. The year 1949 marks an artificial end to an artificial beginning, and the real beginning to the real end. From January onward, Baba began issuing puzzling statements. He said, 90% of the Mandali will have to leave me, and only 10% will remain with me. The year would be one of tests, troubles, and a great personal disaster for him. No one fully understood the real meaning of these statements. Baba entered the 40-day seclusion in the blue bus at Meherabad, starting with a meeting on 22nd June 1949. A meeting was organized the day before, attended by 150 followers, to participate in what Baba referred to as the purification ceremony. This ceremony involved recitations from sacred texts, with Baba offering his free commentary on each reading. The Great Seclusion ended on August 1st, 1949. It was truly great because it prepared the way for the next phase of Baba's mission, his new life. Baba indicated the significance of this seclusion by saying, "The work I have done in Meherabad during this seclusion, I have not done anywhere in the world." In early August 1949, Meher Baba called a special meeting of his close lovers and the Mandali, scheduled from August 15th to 20th at Meherabad, to discuss and decide about the Mandali's future. He made it clear that attendance was mandatory, and no one should miss the meetings under any circumstances. Baba began the first meeting in the Mandali Hall on 15th August by underscoring the seriousness of the discussions, making it clear that they would be final and binding. He made 3 critical points. Point 1. After October 1st, 1949, he would become absolutely helpless due to a personal disaster and would no longer be involved in managing anyone's material affairs. Point 2. Only those fully prepared to accept and fulfill his conditions could stay with him. He would be unreachable to others. Point 3. He planned to disband the Meherabad and Pimpalgaon ashrams, stating, "I am going to wipe these off my map." This meant that the Mandali would also be disbanded. The announcement shocked all as the dropping of a bombshell. They were deeply concerned and anxious about what lay ahead. Baba said, "I thank God that the time for which I have been waiting so long has arrived at last."
ये अल्फाज बाबा के सुनो दिल से प्यारे
I came here to Meherabad on 15th August 1949, and Baba was in the cabin where they stayed. That was Baba's cabin, and Baba would call people there. So now my turn came. So Baba said, "Are you married?" I said, "No, Baba." Then Baba just looked at me and he said, "Oh, you're not married? Then I am going to call you for a meeting soon, and don't miss that." So I said, "All right, Baba had just asked me this thing, whether you are married, and just he said, I'm going to call you for the meeting. So it's good. So it must be soon, and how happy I would be to be with Baba again for the meeting." He doesn't say just for darshan. He says for the meeting. So it would be nice. I would have a nice time in the company of the Baba, which all the time I crave for.
Baba decided to sell all his properties, including land, buildings, and personal items, with the sole exception of his tomb shrine on Meherabad Hill. The proceeds from the sale were intended to settle debts and to provide for those who would not be accompanying him but relied on him financially. Baba wanted to ensure that no one dependent on him would be left without support. Nariman, Meherji, and Saroj expressed concern about Baba's decision to sell all the ashrams and other properties. Driven by their deep reverence and emotional attachment to these sacred places, they wanted to purchase the properties at Meherabad and Meherazad. Baba agreed to their request. Meherji became the owner of Lower Meherabad, Saroj of Meherabad Hill, and Nariman of Meherazad. These three men chose to maintain the properties for Baba's future work and never regarded them as their own.
ख्यालों में उलझन है बाकी न बंधन है निखवत न गुस्सा न कुछ काम कंचन
On 17th August, Baba presented three alternatives to the attendees. 1. Those who could fulfill Baba's conditions would accompany him. 2. Those who couldn't meet the conditions should focus on earning a living, supporting their families, and continue following Baba's orders. 3. Those who could do neither would have to go their own way. The profound significance of the new life is encapsulated in these powerful words of Baba. Those who want to come with me should consider themselves as already dead. Just as a corpse has no connection or concern with anything material, does not ask questions, and does not want anything, in like manner those accompanying me will have to be with me as corpses. He said, "It is not merely a question of hardships and difficulties like those encountered in must trips. The most difficult thing now is the need to control emotions and feelings, and to have absolute readiness for split-second and on-the-spot obedience to whatever I will ask you to do or not to do."
I don't know whether you're aware of the conditions of new life. And the most important one was that we should remain cheerful all the time in Baba's presence. We must never have a long face in presence of Baba, as it is said, and that we should always keep cheerful, happy. Well, whatever be your feelings within you, that's a different thing. Nobody cared for that. But when you face Baba, you have to face him with a broad smile. Smile as when you call out cheese, you see. That's it. So that was one of the most important conditions. And any failure in that would mean that Baba had the right to send his companion back to his home.
For the women mandali, Baba offered an additional option not given to the men. They could leave everything to Baba and do exactly as he said. The women chose this fourth option. Baba selected Mehra, Mani, Mehru, and Goher to accompany him in the new life. On 18th August, Baba held a special ceremony where representatives of each religion performed their respective rituals. Kekobad performed the Kusti ceremony. Donkin read the crucifixion of Jesus. Kak Saheb offered namaz, and Kalimama recited passages from the Bhagavad Gita. After the readings, Baba placed the holy books Avesta, Bible, Quran, and Gita on a table and directed Ghani to place his hands on them and offer the following prayer. May God help Baba to definitely take this step, which he is taking, to give up everything and to go away irrevocably, so that from October 16th, when he enters the new life, there will be no turning back. The prayer was notable as it was the first time in 28 years that Baba had sought such divine help. The Mandali were so deeply moved and speechless that no one could think of saying, Amen. For the women not accompanying Baba, the following arrangements were made. Mansari's and Kekobad's families stayed on Meherabad Hill. Naja and Katie were at Nariman's apartment in Bombay. Sultoon and her family at Bindra House in Pune. Kitty, Rano, Sunamasi, and Khorshid at Meherji's apartment in Bombay. For the followers not accompanying him, Baba provided comprehensive instructions for their daily activities while residing in their respective places. Although physically separated from Baba, they were to partake in his new life by following instructions that include not possessing money, refraining from buying or accepting new things, avoiding movies, and only accepting food, shelter, and essential toiletries from their hosts. All the belongings of the woman mandali, including their expensive saris, gold ornaments, and precious jewels, were surrendered to Baba for disposal. By the end of this process, nothing was left at Meherabad nor Merazad. Everything had been sold. Baba also cancelled the last will made in favor of the mandali since 1940 and the wills made by the men mandali in his favor. Baba personally tore them up except for the wills of the Westerners. On August 31st, 1949, Baba held a final meeting to present the conditions for the new life to the selected 32 men from the list of 102. Bal Natu, one of Baba's close followers, arrived in Meherabad a day early on August 30th for the meeting scheduled on August 31st.
I received a letter from Baba which was of course written by Adi under Baba's instruction. And that's the only letter which I have received Baba, a registered letter with acknowledgement due. And when I opened it, and I will just tell you the contents of those letters. As far as I remember, the contents of the letters were, Baba orders you to be at Meherabad on September 4th morning at 8 o'clock for 1 day without fail. You alone should come, and if you don't come, you will never come. So when I read that letter, I couldn't understand what it meant. But still I was happy that Baba said that he would call me, and he has called me. And then there was no time, even Baba had first asked me in the letter to be at Meherabad on 4th September, but that date was changed and we were asked to be there on 31st August, 4 days early. I think the meeting was in the morning, so I reached there on 30th evening by this 4 o'clock train. Next morning, we all got up, had our bath. Baba had already come and he started joking with people. The meeting had not yet started. Although later on I will tell you that it was the most serious meeting that I had ever seen Baba conducting, was that meeting of 31st. But when Baba came, he was quite in a happy mood. He called who had come and all that, and he joked with some of his dear ones. Then we all slowly got into the hall. Baba first went inside. And the moment Baba got in, there was a real change in Baba's expression. Baba, who was joking right outside, and now he's here, and now he's looking so solemn and serious, and Baba slowly brought out the subject of new life. And then, to have an idea of what that new life is, some points were read out. In fact, it was Dr. Donkin who explained all these things in English, and later on it was Ramju who explained these things in Hindi. So to give you the idea, the profundity of the new life, I would like to read some part of the points that were read out at the meeting. The main refrain of these points was, you and you alone are responsible before God. Baba wanted to make it quite clear that this decision should be of everyone as an individual. So the first point was, in this new life of complete renunciation, you will be utterly at the mercy of all kinds of good or bad treatment that may be meted out to you by others. Whatever happens, you and you alone will be held responsible before God. If due to physical or mental exhaustion, exposure to extreme weather, lack of food, etc., etc., you fall ill or die, you and you alone will be held responsible before God. If Baba should give you any order that may result in your being sent to prison, or in your being assaulted or even killed, you and you alone will be held responsible before God. If you should disobey Baba and he should send you away from him, you will not hold Baba responsible before God for your future, whatever that future may bring. The decision that you give to Baba will be considered by him as irrevocable, and he will not accept any change of decision from anyone. If, as a result of your having been sent away by Baba, you should take any misguided step, you and you alone will be held responsible before God. So the main thing that Baba wanted all to understand, that whatever decision we would have, that person will be responsible before God, because Baba said, don't expect any spiritual or material benefit for me, but you will be responsible before God. And so when these points were read out, then Baba said, I will take an oath, which was a very, very solemn occasion. Baba stood near his chair facing his own picture, which you still see in Meherabad Hall. That picture was there, and then the part of the oath that Baba has taken was this. Before this infinite God, who ever was, ever is, and ever will be, Baba decides today on the new life that he and those who accompany him will enter from October 16, 1949 and lead on till the end. This new life will be based absolutely on all that has been dictated by Baba in the circular of conditions, and Baba invokes God to make him stand by it as firmly and steadfastly as his companions in the new life are required to be. So it's really hard to picture the solemnity, profundity, and the seriousness of the meeting that was held on 31st August in Meherabad Hall.
Standing orders. Besides these conditions, the following standing orders were given. 1. Do not touch women. 2. No handling of money. 3. No discussion of politics. 4. No expression of anger or criticism. 5. Restricted movements without Baba's permission. 6. Honesty in all matters. 7. Not seeking or encouraging homage. The men were eventually divided into 3 categories. 1. Yes Wallas, those who agreed to accompany Baba. 2. No Wallas, those who chose not to accompany Baba and would continue their lives as before. 3. Arrangement Wallas. The 5 men appointed by Meher Baba to handle practical arrangements for those financially dependent on him were Sarosh, Nariman, Meherji, Ramju, and Jal Kerawala. Sabak Damania served as an assistant. Over time, Baba also gave them additional tasks, which they carried out faithfully. Baba, aged 55, selected 20 companions, 4 women and 16 men, to join him in the new life. Women companions. Mehra, aged 42. Mani, 31. Meru, 22. Goher, 33. Men companions. Adi Senior, aged 45. Alaba, 33. Anna 104, 60. Babadas, mid-40s. Baidal, 59. Daulat Singh, 59. Donkin, 37. Erich, 33. Kani, 56. Gustachi, 59. Kakabaria, 58. Murlikale, 30. Nilu, 45. Tendu, 45. Sadashiv Patil, 60. Vishnu, 45. By October 5th, 1949, all Yeswalas had gathered at Meherabad. Baba ensured identity cards were issued for the group. This is Baba's identity card. On the momentous morning of October 16th, 1949, at Meherabad, Baba and the women companions woke up at 2 o'clock a.m. They started to the railway crossing near Ahmednagar railway station in a car driven by Erich. It started raining as if the heavens could not bear the sight. Baba's lovers were facing physical separation from their beloved, and their hearts wept in sorrow. Starting from Meherabad, the men companions joined Baba at 4:15 a.m. at the railway crossing. It continued to rain heavily. Baba also asked the companions to keep silent for a minute before starting. Then Baba touched the road with his forehead in a gesture of humility and reverence. Companions followed the same. Then, raising his hands, Baba asked the companions to utter this prayer. O God, make a success of this new life and turn it into eternal bliss for all. No sooner was the prayer offered than the procession began. Thus began the new life, a life of helplessness and hopelessness, with no turning back.
Because he walked the new life, being perfection itself, he then walked the new life on behalf of all. And because when perfection itself performed this slightest act, the fruits of it must be perfect. And therefore, because he gave birth to it by walking through it, it exists and will go on exist and on exist when there is none even to live it.